All right, everybody, welcome to part 2 of our chord tone soloing over the blues series here. Now, last time we talked about the fact that adding a new dimension to your chord tone solos is easy if you cross that octave barrier because you get away from the thirds and you introduce that element of the interval of a second and how that can completely change things. And now you're just not stuck playing thirds. You actually have some interesting ways to solo with chord tones. So hopefully some of you that have seen that have worked on it a little bit. If you haven't watched that one, I suggest going back and watching it, and I'll put a card somewhere on the screen where you can go and do that. Then come back to this video. But we're gonna talk about another concept that's really going to help you with your chord tone stuff. So a lot of you in the comments section of the first video alluded to, oh, he's gonna start to get into extensions. Not yet, we're not there yet. There's more we can talk about with just 1, 3, 5, and 7 before we get to any of those extensions. And the concept here is that we do not need to play from one chord tone right to the next, either up or down. So let's imagine that we're starting on 1. We do not need to play 3 after that 1, or in the other direction, 7 after that 1. Remember, we have the option of going from 1 to 5, or 1 to 7, or even 1 to 1, an octave up. And now what we start to realize is even though chord tones are kind of built-in thirds, we don't have to play those thirds. So what if we came up with a pattern that was play a chord tone, skip a chord tone, play the next one up? So that would mean that we went from 1 to 5, then we come back down and we go 3 to 7, then we come back down and we go 5 to 1, then 7, 3, and then we're back on 1, and we can start the pattern over again. So let's see what happens if we do that exact pattern that I just mentioned on a B flat 7 chord. Then we can also do it going down with the same concept. So 1, 5, 7, 3, 5, 1. So it's pretty amazing, isn't it? Same chord tones, still just 1, 3, 5, and 7, now a completely different way to play them. Do you want to get into even larger intervals than that? Well, what if we did 1, skip 2 chord tones, 7, 3, skip 2 chord tones, 1, 5, 3, 7, 5. What would that sound like? We could also do that concept going down. So I hear this a lot from my students. It's like, oh, I want to start using wider intervals in my playing. And then they go and they try to do all this really complicated stuff to try to get wide intervals in their playing. And what they don't realize is that you have all the materials that you need to start getting those wide intervals in your playing just with chord tones, just with 1, 3, 5, 7. So chord tones are like the gift that keeps on giving. All we have to do is constantly figure out new ways to manipulate these 4 notes, and we keep discovering new uses and new sounds off of this very basic material. So that's it. That's the lesson for today. Don't think that what we talked about last week was the end of the road. And also don't think that we need to even start adding extensions into our chord tone playing to get something else, to get a different sound. All right, so what I'm gonna do at the end of this video is give you another chance to trade. We'll trade back and forth a little bit. Now, I'm not gonna be focusing on using these really wide intervals. I just simply want you to know that it's a possibility. And you'll hear me do some of that stuff, but I'm not going to like really hammer what we just talked about. What I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to be as musical as possible with just chord tones. But I will say I'm only going to use chord tones 1, 3, 5, 7, 1 again in this video. So my suggestion would be maybe to go and work on some of these things, at least explore this concept maybe over the chords in the B flat blues, which is what we're going to be playing over. Then come back to the video and, do the trading with me once you feel like, okay, well, now I have these new skills. And then come back to the video and do a little bit of the trading with me once you sort of understand and have put into action what I just taught you. Okay, great. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope this gives you even more ideas using this really basic information. This is what I'm all about. You take the basics and you learn how to flip it in every single way possible, and you'll just be amazed at the results if you consistently put in time with these simple things. And again, what this does is it raises your floor. So you know that you can go out to a gig or a jam session and you could play really, really cool stuff just using chord tones. And once you have that confidence, it's absolutely amazing what that does to you. You can start learning more advanced concepts. You can start building on top of those skills. But I'm a firm believer that if you can't do a lot with a little, the advanced concepts are just going to confuse you and they're never going to come out the way that you want them to. So let me know what you think. Happy to have a discussion in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope we brought you value, and we'll see you in another video soon. Bye, everyone.